Good. Call the meeting to order. Roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Here.
Caledonia.
Here.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Here.
Groveland.
Here.
Lester.
Here.
Lima. Livonia.
Here.
Mount Morris.
Here.
North Dansville.
Here.
Nunde.
Here.
Ashen.
Here.
Portage.
Here.
Sparta. Springwater. Here. West Sparta. York.
Here. I'd like to ask the Livonia Town Supervisor Eric Goff to please lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have some minutes for your consideration from our last regular meeting, August 23rd. Does anybody have any additions that they care to bring forward at this time? Hearing none, I'd look for a motion in a second, please.
Move an error.
Second, Hoare. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. That's carried. We do have a public hearing this afternoon. I'd like to ask Maureen Wheeler to please come forward and introduce the public hearing.
Thank you, Chairman. The purpose of today's hearing is to provide information to the public regarding the Community Development Block Grant Small Business Program, and to consider comment regarding the proposed application being requested for submittal by Livingston County. An application in the amount of $100,000 is being proposed to the New York State Office of Community Renewal to support and foster the development of a new business. Solitude Brewing Company will create a production facility, tap room, and restaurant in an existing building in the town of Livonia. Grant funds will not exceed 10% of the total project cost and will be used to cover a portion of machinery and equipment costs. It is anticipated that 8 new jobs will be created. Pending a successful outcome of the grant application, it is proposed that the county would enter into a subrecipient agreement with the Livingston County Development Corporation to administer the funding.
Thank you, Maureen. Declare the hearing open. I'll ask if there's any members of the public wishing to comment at this time. If so, please come forward and sign in at the podium. Ask if there's any supervisors wishing to comment at this time. Excuse me. Hearing none, I'll keep the public hearing open until the close of the meeting. We do have an abstract of claims for consideration.
Mr. Chairman, I move this abstract of claims and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Are there any questions or concerns on the claims? Hearing none, I roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted.
Next, we have privileges of the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I request privileges of the floor for Kelly Burns and Bill Bacon for a tourism update.
Thank you, Mr. Denny.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm joined here today by Kelly Burns, our Director of Tourism, and we certainly want to thank you for taking some time during your meeting today and putting us on your agenda to talk with you about Livingston County tourism and visit LivCo and the state of tourism in Livingston County. The first slide here represents a snapshot of our tourism strategy, and before I turn this presentation over to Kelly, I just wanted to take a moment to point out how intertwined tourism and economic development actually are. In fact, we've often said that when any prospective resident or business seeks to locate or relocate in an area, they look at this area through a visitor's lens first. By enhancing the experiences and the opportunities of our guests, we can create a lasting impression that makes people want to return, locate their business here, and or raise their family here. Every one of our economic development initiatives, along with complementing tourism initiatives, helps to build that quality of life and advance those strategies. to become a destination for all. And the efficiencies that we gain by working together and keeping open communication between the two offices is certainly priceless. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Kelly.
All right, thanks everyone. So I wanted to start by going through some of our data. And we've been hearing a lot from people anecdotally that they really love our brand. I know I've sent out to you on all of your desks some of our guides. Today you have some of our Eclipse takeaways. So we've been hearing people really like the brand, and now we really want to put some data behind that so we know exactly how our brand is out there and how people are interacting with us. So these are some of the data sources that we have to be able to measure some of our impacts. So new to us is Placer AI this year. You can see it allows us to track people across a variety of areas. And what that does is it takes data from your cell phone. So it takes cell phone data and extrapolates it into some more data for us to be able to see who's visiting, where they're coming from, how long they're spending here, and where they're going throughout the county. And then Granicus also is new to us. That helps with our short-term rental compliance. And we are just getting into that software, getting trained on that. So that's all I'm going to say about Granicus for now, but stay tuned for more updates in the future. And then Google Analytics is what we're able to use to measure our website. So any of our digital advertising that we're spending on there. And then I'll also make note that this morning, they just released the New York State tourism report for 2022. The governor just released that. So we haven't included any of that data in here because it just came out a couple hours ago, but it is a really great report with some breakdowns region-wide and county-wide. So just a note of occupancy tax. I know we've already had our request in and we have it approved. This is just kind of the level set so you can see where we're at in comparison with the 14 other Finger Lakes counties as designated by New York State. So we're at 3% currently. So this is some of our Placer data. So this is visits to Livingston County, and their data goes back to 2017. So that's why we only have data going back that far. And just to call out the last one, the 8.5 million is for 2023. Obviously, we're still in the middle of 2023, so that will go up by the end of the year. You can see with COVID, obviously there was a big dip. 2021, we're thinking that big increase is a result of more staycations. So people that are staying home, they couldn't really travel internationally due to COVID restrictions. And it was really stay around home, stay local. So that was that big jump. And then the 13 is kind of getting back to pre-pandemic levels. So we're expecting another around 13 million this year based on the data. So this breaks it down into monthly visits. So again, going back to 2017, you can kind of see that everything has been in lockstep and going up. The one thing I want to call out your attention to is this year, you can see July and August are the top that they've been for the last 5 years. So given that trend, we're expecting that to stay on top and maybe even end this year more so visitation than last year. And what is also interesting to note on here is that we obviously know our big season is lake season, July, August, summertime. That's when people have time. That's when they're using their vacation. But we're seeing them coming into September and October when we have the foliage season. So we're not losing as many. It's not as steep of a drop off. So we're trying to maintain that visitation throughout September, October as they go through the year. And this is a really colorful map showing where people are coming from. So this is called what Placer AI calls a trade area. So when people come to Livingston County, which is outlined in purple there, you can see where they're drawing from. Obviously, Rochester is a huge draw because it's close. Buffalo is also a really big market for us. And then you can also probably call out your counties or your villages in there, the little red dots within the county. So not only are people coming into the county from outside the county, but people that live here are also recreating here and going around town to different like festivals, different stores, different restaurants, campgrounds. So we don't want to lose sight of the fact that people are traveling to us, but people are also traveling within us as well. So how does this tie into our advertising? So we're taking a lot of this data and we're able to use it to do a lot of targeting. So previously, out with the old is really the broad spectrum print advertising or radio advertising, kind of a post and pray method where you put all your money and your eggs up front and then you hope it turns into results. Moving to digital advertising, it really allows us to spend the money and change as needed. So if we see something that isn't working, we can change it rather than committing to it upfront and hoping that it works. And I showed us just a few examples of the different ads that we're doing. So the Facebook ad is we're doing some Eclipse glasses sales. So people can order their glasses to get ready for the eclipse next year. And that is targeting people locally. So we can target everybody within Livingston County and say, get prepared, buy your glasses, we'll ship them to you. Search ads, kind of what you're familiar with on Google, you type in keywords and it returns you a search ad. So this, we're also able to plug and play different things we want to call out so we can tell people not only is this Livingston County, do you want to know what to eat? Do you want to know what events are going on? Do you want to know, are you a visitor? You can look for that. If you're a resident, you can look for that. And it also allows them to call us directly from the ad. So we can really make it robust to try and answer what the people are looking for. And the last one is a display ad. This also has a lot of AI behind it on Google. So we can give Google 20 different pictures, 10 different logos, some different descriptions, some different headlines, different call to actions, and Google can create the ad that it thinks the person is looking for. So again, something new and different. Before you had to create the entire ad, put it out there, hope it worked, and now Google is taking components of your ad and serving them up to people in a way that's really targeted and really trying to get them to where they want to go. So this slide looks really busy with a lot of numbers, but really the point of this is it's a baseline. So with taking over tourism, we kind of wanted to start from the ground and see where we're going. So 2022 obviously was very low, but that was because Google changed their measurements. So part of it is that, part of it is taking over the tourism contract, building a new website, getting it up and running. But with the 2023 numbers, you can really see it's starting to take off from there. So that means that Google really likes our website. It's serving up people that really want to get their questions answered. And so we're tracking close to 15,000 users to the website. And then I also wanted to call out the bottom chart, which is engaged sessions. So in a vacuum, it'd be great that we had 15,000 users, but if they land on our website and immediately leave, that's not helpful to us. So when we see they're engaged, that means they're on the site for more than 10 seconds. They're taking some sort of action, like they're clicking, they're giving us their email, they're going to a hotel or a restaurant to leave and see what that from our listing and going to them. And then they're also perhaps taking any sort of action on multiple pages. So they're going to more than one page. So really telling the story of people like our website, they're finding it and they're doing action on it. Second column, which is none, we don't want to see that. We want to get that number lower because we want to know where people are coming from. So none isn't really very helpful to us. So the more we can tell people, put some more tracking behind it, then we can see where people are coming from. A referral is when people come to us from other websites. So the top referrals right now are New York State parks. So Letchworth and the Greenway both have us listed on there. So people come to us from their websites when they're planning a trip to those parks. They know that they can come to us and find out a little bit more information. Step Out Buffalo is an advertisement company we use out of Buffalo. They're giving us a lot of traffic. And then also our social media referrals when we're posting our blogs and whatnot to get people to our website. That's coming from there. And then CPC stands for cost per click. We've just started with digital advertising in the last couple months, haven't even spent more than $150 on it. So that's the number we really want to push, really want to make it more targeted. And the result of that is that we can take all that data from Placer, from Granicus, from Google Analytics, and tell people where they want to go on our website. So it's great they're finding us. We really want to direct them into the nitty-gritty of our website. So if you're interested in home brewing, we can give you an ad. Maybe you want the libation loop. If you just bought a boat, we can send you to our pages about Canisius Lake. If you have kids, we can send you to our pages about ice cream. So it's really taking everything that's out there and being able to get people planning their vacations to the county and finding out more information that they really want to know versus hoping they just stumble across it. So some of the big events coming up this fall, you might have heard of the Hoochie Festival. That's coming up in about a month, October 20th and 21st. So it's the first annual festival, and it'll come down in the Village Park. We have some bands. We just announced the official artist lineup a couple weeks ago. Tickets went on sale too a couple weeks ago. So we're expecting about 3,000 to 4,000 people in Geneseo, really showcasing our local makers, local brewers, creators in the area. And obviously, the big thing is Livco Soul. So you all got a little gift bag today. It has some Eclipse glasses, some Eclipse stickers, and then some information to pass along to businesses in your respective towns. And what I really want to call attention to on this slide is those blue veins on the right-hand side. So this is a drive shed of where people would come to us from. So there was a big eclipse in 2017, kind of on the opposite trajectory across the country. They found most people come where it's convenient for them. So they're really not going to get on an airplane for the most part. They're going to get in their car, drive 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. You can see that brings us down to New York City, Philadelphia, huge drive shed that people could come up and experience the eclipse in our area. It is coming across Rochester and Buffalo, but we're telling people we're your dark sky destination. You don't have to worry about city lights, neon lights, lots of noise, maybe clouds by Lake Ontario. If you come to our area, we're hoping to have a little bit more quiet for people to enjoy it. And then on the bottom there's different estimates of what visitation could be. It could be 129,000. It could be up to 515,000. From what we've seen so far, even though it's 200-ish days away, people are already booking. A lot of the hotels are less than 10 rooms sold. Airbnb has less than 100 properties left on it. And these properties are selling for between $300 and $400 to $450 a night for a hotel, and even more than that for Airbnbs. And then with our ads, we've also been selling lots of Eclipse glasses too, locally and beyond that. So that's what a lot of our efforts are going towards right now, getting people aware and involved. So that's all we have about tourism. So if you guys have any questions, happy to answer them.
Your glasses work. If you put them on and look through them, you will not see anything. That's by design. When you stare at the sun, that's when you'll see something. So enjoy the glasses, save them for the eclipse. There is a partial eclipse coming
October 14th.
Get to test them out. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. We do have a few resolutions on the preferred agenda this afternoon.
Proclaiming September 2023 as National Preparedness Month. Providing a public hearing to consider public comment on the county's Community Development Block Grant contract with the New York State Office of Community Renewal for an economic development project in the village of Geneseo. Providing a public hearing to consider public comment on the county's proposal to submit a community development block grant application to the New York State Office of Community Renewal, capacity building and entrepreneurial assistance to support and foster the development of micro businesses. Designating Livingston County Tourism, Inc. as the 2024 official tourism promotion agency.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there any discussion on any of these 4 resolutions? Hearing none, I look for a motion and a second to bring it to a vote.
Gonzalo.
Davis.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None carried. The roll on these 4, please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted.
Next, we're going to have some resolutions that are going to require a separate roll call vote.
Mrs. Walker, authorizing the chairman of the Livingston County Board of Supervisors to sign the following contract for the Livingston County Department of Health, Hillside Children's Services, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Are there any questions or concerns on this contract? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle. Aye.
Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland. Lester. Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris. North Dansville. Nunde. Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the chairman of the Livingston County Board of Supervisors to sign the following grant award contract for the Livingston County Department of Health. New York State Department of Health.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Are there any questions or concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester. Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris. North Dansville. Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Amending a portion of resolution number 2023-220, step-by-step contract.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Are there any concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon. Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland. Lester. Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris. North Dansville. Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Establishing the Livingston County Department of Health's hospice rate schedule effective October 1st, 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Are there any concerns on this rate schedule? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris. North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing a professional services contract for the Livingston County Office for the Aging. Trusted Nurse Staffing LLC, doing business as Trusted Choice Home Care.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Are there any concerns on this contract? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris. North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the chairman of the Livingston County Board of Supervisors to sign the following grant award contract for the Livingston County Workforce Development Youth Bureau, New York State Office of Children and Family Services.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Any questions on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris. North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing a professional services contracts for youth sports and education opportunity funding. Avon Braves Youth Football and Cheerleading, Calmon Youth Basketball Association, and Livingston County Legends.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Does anybody have any concerns on any of these professional service contracts? Roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing professional services contracts for youth development funding. Catholic Charities to Ben Livingston, Hillside Children's Center, Inc., and Legal Aid Society of Rochester, New York, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Any discussion on any of these professional service contracts? Hearing none, I'll ask for the please.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland. Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing professional services contracts for community services block grant funding. Catholic Charities to Ben Livingston, Geneseo Parish Outreach Center, Inc., Chances and Changes, Inc., UR Medicine Noise Health, also known as Nicholas Noyes Memorial Hospital / Livingston Healthcare Systems, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Are there any questions on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Mr. Deming, awarding bid for the Central Services Department for the provision of comprehensive HVAC repair to various systems at numerous locations throughout Livingston County. Monroe Piping and Sheet Metal LLC.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Are there any concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Amending the Livingston County Clerk fee schedule.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the chairman of the Livingston County Board of Supervisors to sign the following contract for Livingston County. Livingston County Tourism, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Are there any concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville. Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Resolution authorizing a road use agreement for Horseshoe Solar Energy Center LLC.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Are there any questions on this road use agreement? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Awarding bid for the Office of Emergency Management for Swift Water Rescue Equipment, All Hands Fire Equipment LLC.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Are there any questions or concerns on awarding this bid? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris. North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the chairman of the Livingston County Board of Supervisors to sign the following contract for the Livingston County Planning Department. SUNY Research Foundation of the State of New York.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Is there any discussion on this contract? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester. Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris. North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater. West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the chairman of the Livingston County Board of Supervisors to sign the following contracts for the Livingston County Sheriff's Office. Axon Enterprises, Inc. There are two.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon. Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland. Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Amending a portion of resolution number 2018-358, Portage Tower lease with Stevens.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Are there any questions or concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon. Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Mr. Knapp, amending the 2023 Livingston County budget, social services and workforce development.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Are there any questions or concerns on this budget amendment? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Establishing an account, grants and public information, affordable connectivity outreach program.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon. Caledonia. Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Amending the 2023 Livingston County salary schedule, records management and sheriff's office.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Are there any questions or concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the purchase of one 2023 Chrysler Pacifica for the Livingston County Central Services Department. Falls Dodge, Inc., doing business as Joe Sacconi's Chrysler Complex.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Are there any concerns on this purchase? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon. Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Adopting the Livingston County Department of Social Services Indigent Burial Policy and Fee Schedule.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Rescinding resolution number 2021-184, Livingston County Infrastructure Capital Grant, Livingston County Industrial Development Agency, Town of York.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Are there any concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon. Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Approving Livingston County Infrastructure Capital Grant, Livingston County Industrial Development Agency, Town of Avon.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Any concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Amending approved Livingston County Infrastructure Capital Grant, Livingston County Industrial Development Agency, Town of York.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Any questions or concerns on this resolution? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen. Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the purchase of one 2024 Ford F-250 pickup truck with snow plow prep package for the Livingston County Highway Department. C. Basil Ford, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Are there any questions or concerns on this purchase? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia.
Aye.
Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted. Authorizing the chairman of the Livingston County Board of Supervisors to sign the following contract for the Livingston County Records Management Department. Image Retrieval, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Are there any questions or concerns on this contract? Hearing none, roll please, Michelle.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York. Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted.
We do still have the public hearing open. I'll ask at this time, so if any member of the public wishing to comment, you can feel free to come forward to the podium and sign in. Ask again, as I did earlier in the meeting, is there any supervisor wishing to comment this time? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. We do have one resolution associated with it.
Mr. Deming, authorization to submit a grant application to the New York State Office of Community Renewal.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Deming. Are there any questions or concerns on this action at this time? Hearing none, roll please.
Avon.
Aye.
Caledonia.
Aye.
Canisius. Geneseo.
Aye.
Groveland. Lester.
Aye.
Lima. Livonia. Mount Morris.
Aye.
North Dansville.
Aye.
Nunde.
Aye.
Ashen.
Aye.
Portage.
Aye.
Sparta. Springwater.
Aye.
West Sparta. York.
Aye.
Ayes 4267, absent 787, adopted.
I will mention Tom Lott called today. The invitation is out to come to pay it down. They have a legislative night here later in the month. If anyone wishes to attend, please let us know. Is there any other business to come before the board this afternoon?
Move to adjourn from Geneseo.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, that's carried. Our meeting stands adjourned. Oh.